Good morning, everybody. It's sunrise, and it's Sunrise Sunday. Sunrise Sunday is the best day. Anyway, I don't know what y'all got going on this morning. I gotta go to church, so I'm fixing to go through. We're going to get back to 2 Kings chapter 11 this morning, because we was interrupted by current events. We're going to get back to that this morning. I'm gonna just go through that here. I gotta get to church so I can preach another sermon there this morning. The work of the Lord is never done. Hallelujah. He keeps you busy. He keeps you on your toes. That's all right. Well, we're going to, the message this morning in 2 Kings 11 it was regarding providence and righteous courage. Starting, we can see in this chapter that even in times of great darkness and political chaos, and God works to preserve his promises through the courage and faithfulness of his people. We start off with this story that there's this queen. Her name is Athaliah, and she is the mother of Isaiah. Remember, Isaiah was killed. He was the king. And Athaliah is the mother of Isaiah. And she saw that her son was dead. She decided that she rose up and was going to kill all the royal heirs, because she didn't want the heirs of Israel to take over. She wanted to take power for herself. She was a tyrant. So she goes to murder all the royal heirs. These are royal heirs that are part of David's line. The line that God promised would endure forever. She assaults and attacks and tries to destroy, just as Herod did when he went after all the firstborn to take Jesus out. It's a direct assault on God's providence. But of course, God always prevails. His hand cannot be stayed. He sends one of his servants, Jehosheba, sister of Isaiah, who in her courage bravely hides the infant Joash, which is the last remaining heir. She hides him in the temple of the Lord, where he stays for 6 years. Athaliah thought she had it wrapped up. Even when all seems lost, the Lord got a plan. He'll always have a remnant hidden. In the 7th year, after 6 years goes by, Joash is 7 years old. They lived 6 years under Thai's tyrannical rule. But another servant of the Lord, Jehoiada, or Jehoiada, is a hard name to say, which is a priest, and Jehoiada is husband. Or Jehoiada's husband tells the priest, I'm sorry. Jehoiada's husband tells the priest, Jehoiada, that reveals that the true heir and prayers restore right with king. They decided that Jehoiada the priest found out that there was this heir that was alive. Pretty much, that's how it goes. He found out there was this heir that was still alive, and he decided he had to do something. So this king that they did not know still existed. So he had to put in a plan. So Jehoiada goes to the royal guards. And captains, and he tells them, you know, we have a king, a rightful heir. No, they're not all gone. There's this young boy, Joash, and he needs your protection. So Jehoiada goes into the temple, and what he does is he gets the shield. Remember, in the temple, there's shields in the temple that are David's shields. King David's shields. And he takes these shields and he gives them to the guards. And he says, use these to protect Joash so that we can get him into the temple to know him king. So he tells them that's what they do. In 11 chapter 4, it shows in the 7th year, Jehoiada sent and fetched the rulers of over hundreds with the captains and the guard, and brought them to him into the house of the Lord, and made a covenant with them, and took an oath of them in the house of the Lord, and showed them the king's son. And he commanded them, saying, this is the thing that ye shall do. A third part of you that enter in on the Sabbath shall even be keepers of the watch of the king's house, and the third part shall be at the gate of Sir, and the third part at the gate behind the guard. So shall ye keep the watch of the house, that it be not broken down. And 2 parts of all you that go forth on the Sabbath, even they shall keep the watch of the house of the Lord about the king. And you shall compass the king round about, every man with his weapons in his hand. And he that cometh within the ranges, let him be slain, and be ye with the king as he goes out, and as he cometh in. And so they did all this. And it said that to the captains over hundreds did the priest give King David's spears and shields that were in the temple of the Lord. And the guard stood every man with his weapons in his hand, round about the king, from the right corner of the temple to the left corner of the temple, along by the altar in the temple. He brought forth the king's son, put the crown upon him, and gave him the testimony. And they made him king, and anointed him, and they clapped their hands, and said, God save the king. So you can imagine, this is a 7-year-old boy, and there's just all these king's men, these soldiers and captains, and they got spears and shields, David's spears and shields in their hands, and they lead this big procession. They go in and they stand guard all around him while he's crowned king. make sure that the 7-year-old boy becomes the ruler to overthrow this tyrannical queen. And as soon as they do, so they shall long live the king. And this fulfills a promise of God to David's line. David's line is restored at this point, because this queen is taken over for 6 years. Athaliah hears of this. She hears the noise coming from the temple. She hears all this going on. She goes to see what's going on, and she sees it, and she goes, trees, and they betrayed me. But they knew what their duty was to God rather than to her. And so then they arrest her. But Jehoiada tells them, don't kill her inside the Lord's house. Don't kill her inside the temple. Take her out. So they take her out and they kill her outside the temple. And they kill all her people. And at this point, Jehoiada establishes a new covenant between the Lord, the king, and the people. And between the king and the people. And this is symbolic of their commitment that they are going to serve the Lord alone. No one can have any allegiance to anything other than the Lord alone. It's important to understand that. As it says from Christ alone. He is the rock, He is the foundation. He is the head. Our allegiance is to the King. Our allegiance is to the royal line of David, the Messiah. No other earthly kingdom, nation, ideology can overshadow that. If it comes down to it, between one or the other, it's Christ alone. After this, people go in, they immediately tear down all the altars of Baal again. As we can see, there's a repeated theme throughout Kings. God's providence is attacked over and over again. But everything all comes back full circle back. And the line becomes restored again. And the altars of Baal are torn down again. Over and over and over again. Divine providence cannot be usurped. God's will be done. His word will not fail to be fulfilled. God protects His promise. There are blessings that come from covenant faithfulness. When we use our righteous courage in service to our King. Protect what He's given us. And protect it by obeying. Our obedience shows our allegiance. Shows where our heart is. Our heart should always be with our King. Nothing should detract from that. What God says happens. Hmm. Anyway, there was peace after this. After Joash was crowned king, it says the city was quiet. There's always peace for a time. That devil comes back. That's why vigilance is required. We gotta stay on our toes. We gotta be the watchman on the wall. Don't let the quiet fool you. And don't let the chaos confuse you. Be vigilant and sober-minded so that you can stand against the schemes of the devil. Anyway, mosquitoes this morning. As I said, I got another sermon to give this morning. Y'all have a beautiful Sunday. And y'all be blessed. Love you, brothers and sisters in the house of the Lord. Give them all a great big hug when you see them. The Bible tells us to greet each other with a holy kiss. That's what that is. That big old bear hug. I love y'all. I'll see y'all back here at sunset.